Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our next session. Wholesale Young Guns. New loan officers changing the game.
Yeah.
You got this.
You got this. Welcome back. How was the break? Good? You guys ready? Some talented young individuals here. Thank you guys for doing this and being vulnerable and sharing yourself. Woo, says David. Hey, so let's start with an introduction, shall we? I'm going to start with the ladies first, Chelsi, all the way over there. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what your history is before joining the industry, and the Wholesale channel quickly, that would be lovely.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Chelsi. I've been a mortgage loan originator for a little over a year and a half. I am from a small town in Wisconsin, and I'm one of 5 children. So resources were limited growing up, so I learned to work hard at a very young age. My career job before becoming a loan originator, I was a luxury event planner, and it was so much fun. I worked crazy hours, traveled a lot, worked with some pretty high-level people, and then my husband, this is where I met him. He's in the military. So eventually, with me traveling and him traveling a lot, we craved stability. So I thought I would move back to Virginia where he was stationed and get a 9-to-5 and become a mortgage loan originator. Well, I got a little catfished with that. So we all know we work a lot more hours than that, but still working on that business. So then 5 months into becoming a loan originator, we got orders to San Diego, California, and that was challenging, but I got creative and cold called realtors and met them for virtual coffee, spent more money on the delivery of the coffee than the actual coffee itself. But yeah, it just kind of goes to show where there's a will, there's a way, and you can kind of do whatever you want, wherever you can. Yeah.
So how long total have you been in the industry?
Okay, a year and a half, a little over a year and a half.
Thank you, Chelsi. David.
I thought you said you were starting with the ladies. My name is David. I'm not a lady today. David Kakish. This is my 2nd year in the industry. Why I'm up here, I couldn't tell you. I'm married, 4 kids. No one cares. I get that. I am a former pastor. It comes up a lot. What was my experience before doing mortgages? I was a pastor. I don't like telling people I was a pastor because one of 3 things tends to usually happen. If you're not a Christian, you apologize for your French lineage. Like, oh, pardon my French. I'm like, you're fine. You're pardoned. Christians come up to me and like start telling me about their dreams. Like, I was a T-Rex and I went to Taco Bell. What does it mean? Like, I don't know. The 3rd thing is that people assume like some sort of scandal. I left ministry. It's a boring story. It's like 16 years. Felt like it was time. I decided I wanted to do mortgages. Awesome time to join the industry. I've never closed a conventional loan with a rate in the 5s, which is fun. So it was going to be tough sledding. Everyone said, hey, terrible time to join. You're not going to make any money for 6 months. On top of that, we moved from Washington to Alabama, where I knew no one, and my brokerage wasn't licensed there. So I had all these awesome things working. But we sold our house and rented it. We have 4 kids, so we rented a condo and just saved all the proceeds from the sale. And I just said, I'm just going to put my head down. We got a bunch of reserves. Let me see what we can do. And we've just been grinding and grinding. And first year finished Scotsman's. We'll 2X this year. So closed my 200th loan in 2 years.
200 loans in 2 years. That's right. He deserves that round of applause. Coming from a pastor, and if you get him one-on-one, he's just going to downplay himself, so don't listen to any of that bullshit. All right. Thank you for having fun with me, David. Elizabeth.
Hi. So my name is Elizabeth Cassidy. I am an Air Force veteran turned real estate agent turned mortgage professional.
Woo-woo.
Thank you. A lot of people will ask me, like, why did you leave real estate? Like, we see it on the disclosures. They make more money. I wanted to still be involved in the process. I just wanted to do it without a bra on, like, to be honest. So I wanted to do it from my house and not have to drive around all day and look pretty and show houses. So 4 years flew by really, really quick. We this past summer, my team and I successfully hit our 600th transaction in 4 years. So we are just moving right along. Come on now. So
Rock and roll. Beautiful. Congratulations on your
Thank you.
success. Kurt's the quiet one. You got to watch out for Kurt.
So my name is Kurt Brandley. I'm the president of Greenside Capital. My former life, I worked at Rocket Mortgage for 10 years, and it was a great time. It was a little bit of a boiler room, but while I was there, I learned a lot from it. I originated just under $1 billion in mortgages, so had a lot of good experience there. At heart, I'm a personal finance and financial wellness nerd, something that I learned from my grandma, who's very near and dear to me. And, I've just kind of made this switch to the broker world within the last 12 months, and it's been, honestly, a whirlwind. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge, but it is the better side of things, without a doubt.
Okay. Well, welcome. Welcome to the Independent Channel, and being a broker owner and being a loan officer. That's just
All the things.
a large feat all at the same time.
Yep.
So listen, you're all invited to be on this stage to share some unique value propositions, right? You're all unique in how you go after your success. And so that's why we wanted to host you up here. And so if you could, tell us a little bit about what makes you unique, what your business model is a little bit, and how you can help these guys gain a little nugget today from you. And I will start again with you, Chelsi, at the end, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so what was the question?
What makes you unique in what you do? What's your niche?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
What do you think why did we invite you to the stage today?
Well, I think something that has been steadfast in my business is my customer service and hospitality. So by customer service, I mean, Will Guidara says customer service is the base level promise of fulfillment, and hospitality is how you make someone feel when you give that service. And a few examples are, like, in my customer service, to get a little tactical, is that every week I'm updating the listing agent, buyer's agent, title agent, and my client throughout the transaction. Regardless of if there's an update, I'll call them and say, hey, no update, loan's going smooth. So I think that's a piece of customer service. And then in terms of hospitality, I really try to make the client feel like a person and not a transaction. And an example this week, I know this is a little basic, but one of my clients, they're a veteran spouse, and their husband is deployed, and they were super sad. They told me about it, and I wrote them a cute letter and sent them a book on how to get through deployment when your spouse is gone. And that, she called me crying and was like, I cannot believe you sent this. This is amazing. And it was awesome because we've never met before too, or it's not like we're friends, but I think I made her feel seen as a person and not just a transaction. So
Beautiful, beautiful. David? Oh, good. Give her a round of applause. I love that.
I want everything I say to be helpful if it is, but I don't presume to know anything, and if it's not helpful, you just put it in your trash can and throw it away. When I started, I knew I wanted to do a lot, but to do it, I knew I needed to have systems and processes. So I never prioritized production. I obsess about the process, like hundreds and hundreds of hours of thinking, can we do it better? What's wrong with this? Can I automate that? Do we need that? And the truth is, if you can't repeat it, you can't grow it. You're only as good as your last deal, right? Realtors have very short, Elizabeth, you tell me. I could have closed 20 deals with you, it all went perfect, and the last one was just a cluster mess, no communication. You're donezo. So you've got to earn it every time. So systems and processes, if I could be real quick, define your target. Know who your avatar is. I mean, to a T. And that's so important to know this age group, this life stage, this income bracket, this area. Why? Because their questions, that's your social media content. What should I post? Who do you want? That's how you get them. And then why is that target better off working with you over someone else? If you can't answer that question, you can't convince them. I mean, that's just the reality. From there, we always try to prioritize simplicity. I am new to this industry, but I did a bunch of research before I came in because I'm a weirdo. I talked to loan officers all over the country, and here's what I realized. Retail LOs, by and large, are more like Apple, or a lot of brokers operate like Android. Like you can buy a Samsung Galaxy 28, whatever it is, for $300, and it's got more RAM and a better camera and whatever, but you're going to drop $1,200 on the new iPhone. It doesn't do as much. It doesn't have as many features, and so I think brokers often flex the wrong muscles, and I'm like, look what retail's doing. Simplicity, people love simplicity and packaging, which leads to the second thing. We prioritize experience. Whether you like it or not, we are a service. No one remembers the name of their home inspector. I couldn't tell you my insurance guy's name. Like, right? You need a service. And so we're fast, we're good, we're cheap. That's not memorable at all. So really prioritize the experience. And a system is a way to engineer the results that you want from an experience. Like really make a memory with everyone. Then constantly refine your process using data. I don't trust my gut. My gut has an ego. Numbers don't care about your feelings. We have metrics for everything. Everything under the sun. And that's what we use quarterly. I export my data from Arrive. I see you, Harish. And I trained a bot on GPT to run analytics to go, what are trends? Where my most profitable sector? You can do all of that. And then finally, just trust your process. It's so stupid. What's the stupid thing? Do you want $1 million or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Do you know that? Like the penny that doubles every day for 30 days is like 5.3 million. And this job is a penny that doubles every day. It's the best job, bang for buck. This is coming from a former pastor. I paid more in taxes this year than I made in 2 years' salary as a pastor. Let me tell you, we have an awesome job. It's a penny that doubles every day. And right now, you're either small for a season or you're small for a reason. You got to figure out which one it is. But trust the process and just keep pushing, keep doing it consistently, and it will grow.
It's awesome. I'm going to just say one thing. So I was out with this guy last night. We may have had a couple drinks. And one of the things he showed me, he brings his phone over, and he showed me how he has his realtors loaded into an Excel spreadsheet, and he had them color-coded, and it gave me I was so delighted because you could tell which realtor you'd call back right away, just by the color, right? Or the ones that you'd just stop and stop, drop, and roll and get on the phone with them. But he has everything in a metrics, right? And I think, say that quote again. What you don't.
If you can't repeat it, you can't grow it?
If you can't repeat it, you can't grow it. I mean, come on, guys. We talked about SOPs earlier this morning. I mean, you just went to it's why you're so successful. I mean, really. And thank you for sharing all of you. Thank you for sharing yourselves with us. Thank you. Elizabeth,
In all honesty, being a military veteran, it was the language I spoke. It was the people that I naturally attracted to. So that is how I kind of got my foot in the door with the community that I'm in. My husband and I moved at the age of 30. I was 30. To a completely new state. And that was the moment that I decided to get into the mortgage space. So I knew no one, but what I did know is that I related to a lot of people because, again, it was a military town. So I started with just helping squash some of the bullshit mindsets on VA loans, and that kind of snowballed into some referral partners, some word of mouth, some people trusting me, and then people trusting me with other things aside from VA and inviting me into offices. And so really honing in on what my niche was and my true focus was something that just helped expand to whatever I wanted it to be. And one of the things that it still sticks with me to this day is I was in retail for like 7 seconds because like their pricing was shit and the people I worked with were not nice. But I remember sitting down my very first week of retail, and I was talking to my branch manager, who was a friend of mine, and I said, I want to focus on VA. And she looked at me, and this was in a military town, okay, this is in Central Florida. She looked at me and she said, if you only focus on VA, you will fail.
Interesting.
And I said, bitch, watch. And so I decided to dive all in on that. And I was like, I am going to focus on VA, and I am not going to fail. And it wasn't easy every single day. Like sometimes it was really, really hard because you couldn't get people to take you seriously because they had a mindset about it for whatever reason. But I stuck with it. I read a lot of books on mindset. I have a lot of free therapy with the mentors at my company to keep me on the straight and narrow. And I really ground into what my niche was and what I wanted to focus on, and I didn't waver from that. I didn't let people throw me off of that. So that's what I contribute most of it to.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that, by the way. I'm glad you were not deviated, right? Look
Thank
at
you.
this.
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't either. It's
Yeah,
working
that's
out.
amazing. Thank you. Kurt.
So I believe, just like David with a process, just like Elizabeth with VA, that your personal brand or your defined value proposition is something that really dictates how successful your business is going to be. For me, that value proposition is I am the all-encompassing finance nerd. In a previous life, I got a master's degree in finance and a master's degree in business while working full-time and managing a pipeline. I love that kind of stuff. I gained it through, like I talked about, my grandmother, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. So when I have a meeting with a client or when I talk to a realtor, I try to make the meeting more encompassing, not just about the mortgage, but also about maybe other stuff they have going on in their life. If they want to know a little bit about taxes, or if they want to know a little bit about investments, I at least give them the resources or the high-level details so they can do that kind of stuff. And that's my personal brand. That's the value that I bring that makes me different than the I think 150,000 other LOs that are out there. So that's the first thing. This has kind of led me into my niche, which something I never actually did before until I got into the broker world was fix and flips and then DSCR loans. So through one of my realtor relationships, after helping him out with his own financial situation, he made an introduction to some investors that have, a lot of doors, and it was very nice of him to make that introduction, but it was based off of my personal brand that I brought to the table. So because of that, I've been doing a lot of DSCR loans and fix and flips, which is not a niche that I knew anything about until I got here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I want to ask you something. Just quickly, how do you find opportunities to dig in with your clients on financial needs? I read a little note on how you do that.
Oh, I mean, when I'm looking at maybe their pay stub, if I see somebody who has a lot of debt on their credit report, and I look at their pay stub, and I notice that they're not making a retirement contribution or anything, I open up the conversation and I say, hey, I understand right now you have debt, but you're also 45 years old. What's your plan for retirement? And then just be silent. Let them kind of open up. They're going to tell you whatever story you need to know about to kind of learn about how you can provide value to that client. And like I said, I can go over a bunch of different topics, from credit cards to insurance, mortgage, tax, whatever it is, whatever they want to know, I'll try to cover. But you can just pick up those little nuggets just by looking at things like their pay stub and notice they're not doing a certain thing to try to provide that extra value that'll eventually have them refer over their friends and family to you.
Perfect. Thank you. And in closing, guys, I want you to give this audience one takeaway quickly. If you could take 15, 20 seconds, give them one takeaway they could take away in their business today to be more like you. What would that be, Ms. Chelsi?
I would say working hard is prerequisite, but a little more tactically. If I could tell myself a year ago what I'd do differently is track realtor metrics. I was meeting with them. They were telling me, yes, I'll send you business 6 months in, I'm not getting it. Talked to my broker, Deshaun, shout out Deshaun, and he said, well, do they have business to give you? And I'm like, good question. So I looked up their metrics, and sure enough, they didn't produce much. And I don't say that to not work with realtors that don't produce, but rather that your time is valuable, and to work with people that match your hustle and are committed to building the community around you.
That's awesome. David. Sorry. I'm going to cut you guys. There you go.
Chelsi's killing it. She gets claps. I'm a former pastor, so I'll teach you a little theology in just a quick second. You will always do what you most want to do. I get phone calls all the time. How do I get more business? How do I get more business? What are you doing that I'm not? And there's no secret trick. There's not one thing. You already know what you need to do. Every day you make a decision, and we have a policy in our house. We tell our kids all the time, saying yes to something is saying no to something else. If you're not where you want to be in your business right now, it's because you don't want it as much as you think you do. I want more business. Go get it. Well, I don't know how. If you really want it, you'll learn. Because here's the thing, like when my mom got real sick, the doctors were saying medicines and stuff, and I don't know anything about that. But I want to know about it because I care about my mom. You start researching. What are the side effects and whatever? When you care about something, you learn and grow. And so honestly, figure out what you really want. And you'll know what you want by the decisions you make every day. What did you say yes to instead of pursuing more business?
You guys, we're going to wrap up here. I apologize to cut you guys short. We ran out of time. But listen, find these guys. They've got lots of nuggets for you. They're incredible. They're the young guns of this industry. Give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Absolutely amazing.